Welcome back to the podcast. Today we are tackling a fascinating question that often puzzles travelers. Why do some countries drive on the left while others use the right? I have always found this confusing whenever I travel abroad.
I completely agree with you there. The first time I visited the United Kingdom, I almost stepped into oncoming traffic because I looked the wrong way. It is genuinely disorienting to see cars coming from the opposite direction.
That must have been terrifying. I remember being in Vietnam, and even though we drive on the right, I still double-check every time I cross. But have you ever wondered about the historical reasons behind this divide?
I have heard it goes back to the days of horseback riding. Most people were right-handed and preferred to keep to the left so they could easily draw a sword against oncoming riders. That seems like a practical explanation.
That is exactly the theory I learned as well. Later on, the British Empire adopted left-side driving and spread it across many of its colonies. That is why Australia, India, and several African nations still drive on the left today.
Yes, Britain's role is huge. But Japan is an interesting exception because it was never a colony. They adopted left-side driving because British engineers helped build their early railway systems in the 1800s.
That is a great point about Japan. So history really does shape everyday habits in ways we rarely notice. Did you know that roughly 35% of the world's population still drives on the left side?
That is a surprisingly large number. I assumed it would be much smaller. But about it, many major economies like the UK, Japan, and Australia are on that list, so it makes sense.
Exactly. And here is something else to consider. Would you feel comfortable driving in a country where traffic flows on the opposite side? I would be nervous at first, especially in busy city centers.
Honestly, I would be terrified. Roundabouts in the UK seem especially tricky because you have to enter from the left lane and yield to traffic coming from your right. It is completely opposite to what I am used to.
Yes, and even crossing the road as a pedestrian can be dangerous. You have to remember to look right first instead of left. I always recite, look right, look left, look right again in my head when visiting a left-side country.
That is a great trick. Humans are actually very adaptable, and most people adjust after a few days of driving or walking. But it is important to stay alert and avoid accidents during that transition period.
Before we wrap up, let us review some key vocabulary from today's discussion. First is traffic, which means the movement of vehicles on roads. Have you ever been stuck in terrible traffic? Maybe on the wrong side of the road.
Oh, many times. Another important word is steering wheel, the device you hold to control the car. In left-hand drive cars, the steering wheel's on the left side, but in right-hand drive, it is on the right.
We also mentioned road rules, which are the laws that govern driving behavior. Even in countries that share the same side of the road rules can differ significantly. For example, giving way at roundabouts is very different.
Another useful phrase is opposite direction, which simply means the reverse side. Tourists must be careful when crossing streets because the traffic comes from the opposite direction compared to their home country.
Finally, the word transportation covers all systems that move people or goods. The history of transportation, from horses to railways to cars, has directly influenced which side of the road we drive on today.
That is a brilliant summary. Before we go, let's ask our listeners, would you feel comfortable driving on the opposite side of the road? Share your experiences in the comments below the video.
And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. We explore geography, culture, and science in a fun way. Thanks for listening to this episode on Left Side Driving.
Yes, it has been a pleasure. See you next time. And remember to look both ways, especially when traveling. Goodbye, everyone.